Good morning, boys and girls. We are on page 43. Please make sure you are on the right page. Lesson 9 homework. So, problem number 1 asks you to convert and show your work using a tape diagram or an equation. The first one is done for you. The first one is an example so that you can use when you are solving the equation. So, we have here that 1/4 yard. We know that 1 yard is equal to 36 inches. So they are converting yards into inches. So if you look here, we have our yards, and they're asking you to convert yards into inches. So that's what we have here. They're dividing to get yards into inches. So the first step that they did here was they multiplied. We know that, let me write that down, that conversion. 1 yard is equal to 36 inches. So they multiplied 1/4 because that's the number that is given, and they're multiplying it times 36. So we have 1 times 36 is equal to 36. Our denominator is 4. 36 divided by 4 is equal to 9 inches. That's how they are solving for the problem. Now I'm going to move on to problem B. We know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. With that conversion in mind, we're going to be multiplying 1 6-foot times 12 inches. 1 times 12 is equal to 12, and my denominator is 6. So 12 divided by 6 is equal to 2 inches. My final answer is 2 inches because they wanted you to find out the answer in inches, and you went from foot to inches. Now the next one, what they're asking you to do is they're asking for years to months. We know that 1 year is equal to 12 months. So I'm going to take that number 3/4 and I'm going to multiply it times 12 months because that's the number that they're asking for. They're asking for months. This is where I'm getting 12 months from. Now, 3 times 12 is going to give me 36. Maybe I should use a different color. 3 times 12 is equal to 36. And 4 times 4 is going to give me 4. Or 4 times 1 is equal to 4. So 36 divided by 4 is going to give me 9 months. On the other side, I am converting meters to centimeters. We know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So what I have here is I have 3/5 of a meter, which is given, and I am changing it to centimeters. So I'm changing it to centimeters, and that's where I get 100 centimeters from. So when I multiply 3 times 100, I get 300, and my denominator is going to be 5. So now I have 300 divided by 5. 300 is going to be the number that goes on the inside because it is the first number. And 5 is going to be the number that goes on the outside because it is the second number. And when I divide, I know that 5 can go into 30 6 times. 30 minus 30 is equal to 0. And 5 times 0 is going to give me 0. So 0 minus 0 is equal to 0. So my final answer is 60 centimeters. Moving on to the next problem, we have problem E. For problem E, we have 5/12 of an hour is equal to how many minutes? So we are converting hours to minutes. We know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So we're going to multiply 5 times 60 minutes. 5 times 60. Now, I can break it up or I can multiply and then divide. But I really like how you can find the multiples and then reduce it. So the numbers I have here is 60. I can cross off because it changes to 5 and 12. I notice that there is a 12 at the top and a 12 on the bottom. So 5 times 5 is equal to 25. Our denominator would be 1, so 25 divided by 1 would equal to 25. My final answer is 25 minutes. For problem F, we are converting yards to inches. We know what is given is not 1 yard. What is given is 2/3 of a yard. So I'm running 2/3 and I'm multiplying it times 36 inches because 1 yard is equal to 36 inches. So 2 times 36 is going to give me 72. So that's what I did here. I multiplied straight across. 2 times 36 is going to give me 72. And I know that 3 times 3, or 3, you just bring it right over. So now I am dividing 72 divided by 3. 3 can go into 7 2 times. 7 minus 6 is equal to 1. Bring down your 2. 3 can go into 12 4 times. 12 minus 12 is equal to 0. So my final answer is 24 inches. Problem 2, it says here that Michelle measured the length of her forearm, so this part of her arm. It was 3/4 of a foot. How long is her forearm in inches? So what we're measuring is we're changing feet to inches. I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 3/4 of a foot. So I have 3/4 right here. And I'm multiplying it times 12 inches. So this is where that number 12 comes from. 3 times 12 is equal to 36. 4 times 1 is equal to 4. So 36 divided by 4 is equal to 9 inches. So our answer is 9 inches. That's how long her forearm is. Now turning to the back page, I have page 44. On page 44, number 1, or problem A, it says right here, at the market, Miss Wynn bought 3/4 pounds of grapes and 5/8 pounds of cherries. So we know the measurement for weight, the weight of grapes, and also for cherries. And the first thing I need to figure out is how to convert, because it says here, how many ounces of grapes did Miss Wynn buy? So we're changing from pounds to ounces. We know that 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. So I'm multiplying 3/4, this number right here, 3/4 times 16 ounces. So what I have is 3 times 16. I'm multiplying the numerator, and then I have 4 on the bottom as my denominator. I can split 16 into 4 and 4 because that is a multiple of 16, 4 and 4. So I can cross off 1 4 at the top and 1 4 at the bottom. So what I have left is 3 times 4. And 3 times 4 is equal to 12 ounces. For problem B, we have here how many ounces of cherries did Miss Wynn buy? Now we know for cherries, we are going to have 5/6 pounds of cherries. So, sorry, not 5/6, 5/8 pounds of cherries. So that's where that number 5/8 comes from. And where does 16 ounces come from? We know that 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. So that's why we have 16 right here. Now we're going to multiply 5 times 16. But you can multiply straight across and then divide by 8, or you can find the multiples of 16, which is 8 and 2. So that means that I can cross off 8 on the top and 8 on the bottom. So what I have left is 5 times 2, which is equal to 10 ounces. So whichever method you like to use, if you use the other way, then you would multiply 5 times 16, and then you would divide by 8. But whichever method works for you, you can do that method. For problem C, it asks you how many more ounces of grapes than cherries did Miss Wynn buy. So what they're asking you for is actually the difference. So I am subtracting. What is the difference between the grapes and cherries? For grapes, again, we have 12 ounces. And for cherries, we have 10 ounces. So I'm going to put that down here. Grapes and cherries. That's where those numbers are coming from. They are coming from the previous problems. So 12 minus 10 is equal to 2 ounces. So she bought 2 more ounces of grapes. For problem D and problem 4, we're not going to do those. So that is all we're going to have for today. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I can answer them in class.